Hello, Better Together family. We are here once again to learn one thing or two about marriages, about relationship, and in general about how we are going to relate with each other. And today, the video is going to be about better ways to relate with your in-laws. In-laws have become very important part of every marriage in the world, especially African marriages. For you to enjoy your marriage, you need to master the skill of relating well with your in-laws. It is a very necessary part of every marriage. And before I end this video, I would want us to know a few things. Number one, I would want you to know the wrong way not to relate with your in-laws. Number two, know a better way to relate with your in-laws so that you can actually make your in-laws a blessing and never a curse. I've seen many people who have not enjoyed their marriages simply because they didn't know better ways to relate with their in-laws. And I tell you, it's a skill. It doesn't come natural. You need to develop that skill. And I would say that it's a very general skill. If you know how to relate with everybody, then relating well with your in-laws will never be a challenge. It will actually be an add-up skill. So the first thing I want us to know is who is an in-law. To begin with, who is an in-law? An in-law is anyone you are related to because of marriage. Anyone you are related to because of marriage. So for example, I am married and I'm related to all my husband's family because I am married to their son. In the same way, if you're a man and you are married, you are related to all your wife's family because you are married to their daughter. So the question is, how do I relate well with them? How do I relate well with them? I'll tell you a few things of how not to relate with them, and then you also get to how to relate well with them. Before I end this video, I'll tell you two Bible characters who were able to relate well with their in-laws for them to have them being a blessing in their lives. If we do that, we'll all enjoy our marriages, because I've realized that many people have a very bad mentality of their in-laws. Let me quickly tell you my story. When I was young, I heard bad stories of in-laws, so I was battle ready, number one, and then I was praying that God, don't give me an in-law because I don't want any problem. Unfortunately, I'm saying unfortunately now because I wish I have in-laws. I married a man who had lost both the father and mother. Don't be like me. I'm teaching you this so that you will know that having an in-law is a blessing and not a curse. Now quickly, let's go to three ways to relate with your in-law in a wrong way, or three wrong ways to relate with your in-law. Number one is when you declare war. When you declare war, or when you declare fire for fire, meaning that before you even enter the marriage, you have made up your mind that any in-law who will bring anything will face your wrath, because you have made up your mind. Maybe it happened because when you visited your husband to be or your wife to be, their reception was not up to the level you wanted them to be, and so your idea about them or the way you see them have changed. And because of that, you have made up your mind, once I become a wife, then I will know how to fight them. I'm now going to bring all my arsenals and fight them. It is a very wrong way to relate with your in-laws. Number two, by handing over your marriage to them. Some people, in relating with their in-law, go to an extreme, to an extent of making them judges over their marriages, breaking all boundaries. Before they take any decision, they need to talk to a mother-in-law. Before they do anything, a brother-in-law needs to know, a sister-in-law needs to know. No. Marriage is an exclusive thing, even though they are also involved in a way. Do not hand over your marriage to them. Don't say that, oh, because they are going to be a blessing, I need to tell them everything. No, don't do that. It's a very wrong way to relate with your in-law. The third thing that you don't have to do, a very wrong way to relate with your in-law, is to declare a cold war. To declare a cold war on your in-laws, meaning that they are in their space, you're also in your space. You don't encroach, they don't encroach. I mean, you built so much of a high boundary that nobody can come to your space. It is wrong. You are related to them. They are your family. You need to relate with them well so that they can actually be a blessing. So these are the three ways, or three wrong ways, to relate with your in-laws. I quickly want us to jump into good ways or strategic ways to relate with your in-laws. I've told you this, in-laws are supposed to be a blessing. Why? I have two reasons why I'm saying that in-laws are supposed to be a blessing. Number one, they have lived with this spouse of yours for many years. I have been married for the past 18 years and still counting. But I got to know my husband when he was already 30 years. So even though I've lived with him for 18 years, the siblings, the parents, and I mean my in-laws have lived with him for more than 30 years before I got to know him. It will be very, very good for me to glean some information and knowledge from them on how to relate well with my husband. If I'm able to do that, it will be a blessing to me. If I don't do that and I want to figure all these things out, definitely I'll make some mistakes. So I want you to know that in-laws are indeed a blessing. They are a great blessing you have to take advantage of. So that's one of the reasons why I say that they are a blessing. Another reason why I say they are a blessing is that they have been able to contributed massively in the life of your husband or in the life of your wife. I mean, all that your wife knows how to cook very well, and she's serving you, she's doing all that there is for her to do, and you are very excited. You should know that somebody taught her. Your husband is a very good giver. Your husband does all that you think is good for you. You should know that somebody contributed that aspect of his life, and so that somebody needs to be respected, that somebody needs to be loved, that somebody needs to be appreciated by you, the wife, or the husband who is really enjoying these benefits. Now, straight away to 3 ways to relate well with your in-laws. Number 1, build a strong and a united marriage. If you build a strong and a united marriage, definitely you will be able to enjoy your in-laws. Why? Because your marriage will be a blessing. Your marriage is not going to be a marriage that they have to come in, they have to help out, they have to correct, they have to do all that. No, your marriage will not be. It will be a blessing. And so if you want to enjoy your in-laws, you need to build a strong marriage. How do you build a strong marriage? I'll link a video down below how to build a strong marriage so that you will learn how to do so. Now, the next thing that can help you to build a very good relationship with your in-law is effective communication. This skill is an all-round skill. I would say that if you will one day marry, if you one day become somebody's wife, somebody's husband, you need to start building that skill. And if you have already married, you need to school yourself effectively on communication. Because if you don't communicate well with your in-laws, what you mean to say will not be understood. And by the time you know it, chaos will erupt because they don't get you, they don't understand you. When you mean to say I love you, it will be communicated that I hate you. And anyone who hears I hate you will retaliate or will give you a bad response. Therefore, you need to learn that skill. You need to be somebody who know how to communicate well, what to speak at what time, how to be able to relate well by the way you communicate. Don't be somebody who cannot hold an intelligent communication for a long time. You are there, you cannot hold an intelligent communication, and you are revealing all secrets because you are not skillful in that area. If you develop that skill, your in-laws will enjoy you, and you will definitely enjoy your in-laws. The third but not the least, I'll say that become financially independent. Become financially independent. This is an area that is very dear to my heart, because before you marry, or if you are in marriage, make it a point to be financially independent, so that your in-laws will know that you are contributing your quota into the marriage. Somebody can say that, oh, I have my own, or I don't want to work, my husband understand, I don't want to work, my wife understands. But one person cannot carry marriage. The same way the one love of one person in the marriage cannot carry the marriage. Financially, both of you can be able to help the marriage well, can be able to sustain and bring all the joy there is to enjoy in the marriage. So if you want to relate well with your in-laws, you have to be financially independent, because number one, you can be able to surprise your in-laws if you have your own money. You can be able to be good to them if you have your own money. You will not depend on their son. Most of the time, fights or misunderstanding erupt because especially African mothers, they think that the wife is not working and the wife is dependent on the son. It is very arguable. Somebody will say, oh, the man is understandable, the man wants it like that. What is the beef of my in-law? However, what will be wrong about it if you are able to have your own money, if you're able to be financially independent on your own? It's going to be a great blessing, and you will be happy you did it like that. I have two Bible characters who have been able to teach us very good ways of relating with our in-laws. The first person, I love her so much. She is a great woman, and God rewarded her for her to be part of the genealogy of Jesus, and she is Ruth. Ruth modeled to us both modern and ancient ways of relating well with your in-laws. This woman lived with her in-law, who was a widow, who was a bitter widow, and who had lost her children as well. Why am I saying a bitter widow? I'm saying so because she said it herself. She said, don't call me Naomi again, call me Mara, because the Lord didn't deal with me well. I am bitter now. And this woman was able to live with her, and she became a blessing. There is a scripture I love so much, and sometimes we don't know how it came, but it came from a mother-in-law. Let me read it to you. As in Ruth chapter 3 verse 3. Ruth chapter 3 verse number 3. I'll get back to that scripture. But in that scripture, the mother-in-law explained something to Ruth. The mother-in-law gave Ruth all the skill there is to get the attention of a man. The mother-in-law did that. If Ruth was not good, definitely the mother-in-law will not give all the secrets to her. Okay, so the scripture says, wash, put on perfume, and get dressed in your best clothes. Then go down to the threshing floor, but don't let him know you are there until he has finished eating and drinking. Naomi was telling Ruth that, look, I know that I am ready. If you read the book of Ruth, there is a part that says that I wish you well. A mother-in-law telling a daughter-in-law, I wish you well. I want the best for you. I want you to be happy. I am praying and waiting and watching to hand you over to another husband. I mean, it means that their relationship has gone so far. Their relationship have gone very deep, and it happened so. So when Naomi realized that Ruth can be able to get the attention of Boaz, she told her the secrets of getting the attention of a man. And we can all glean into that. And what she said, it was not, I mean, if you are decoding it in this modern time, it was not so easy. She said that go wash, go and bath. In other translation, it said go and bath. When you go and you bath, make sure you put on a nice cloth and make sure you perfume yourself and go and lie down on a particular place so that that man can see you. If it was your mother who said that, you would definitely go. But look, Ruth received this harsh direction from a mother-in-law. She did it and it paid off. She obeyed and it paid off. If you read on, it says that she said, I will do everything you tell me to do. Mothers-in-law can definitely relate this way to daughters-in-law. We can change the narrative if we mean to. The next person I'll talk about is Moses. And it can be seen in Exodus chapter 18 verse 21. Moses, we know, is a great man of God, and Moses also had a father-in-law. Ironically, we have been able to touch mother-in-laws and their daughter-in-laws, and then their in-laws. So let me quickly read this one also to you. Exodus chapter 18 verse number 21. But select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain. Appoint them as officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. Let them serve as judges for the people at all times, but let them bring every difficult case to you. The simple cases they can decide themselves. That will make your load lighter because they will share it with you. This is an advice from a father-in-law to a son-in-law. What a good father-in-law. He realized that Moses was working himself to death, and he said, look, let me advise you. If the relationship was not good, this advice will never be part of the Bible. And because of a good relationship of a father-in-law and a son-in-law, today we can glean on it. And today this has become a very serious leadership strategy, a very serious leadership idea that people run with it. He said that go and appoint people. Make sure that these people deal with smaller matters and you will concentrate on the big matters so that you don't work till you die. I'm ending by saying that these two people have been able to teach us better ways to relate with our in-laws, and we can do it. Once they've been able to model it out for us, it is very possible we can do it. Let us change the narrative. Let us make sure that we relate well with our in-laws, because indeed they can be a blessing more than a curse. God bless you.